Ooh, yeah, that's not a bad one. I just think about moving. Oh, stay. Oh, we're floating. We're going to him. River rats, I used to think and fancy the idea that I was a better fisherman on an empty stomach because I was like, you know, more focused on finding a meal and whatnot. But I've come to learn that I can barely string 2 words together on an empty stomach. So the real key for me catching fish was to be well fed and watered, and I am today. That being said, I still want to catch something to eat. So let's go. I gotta re-rig my poles. I don't have to, but I like to keep fresh leader and stuff. Good knots, good fresh knots on all my stuff, just in case I run into a big dog. I figured what better place to stop and re-rig fishing poles than something juicy and channel catty, like this little seam up here. So I'm gonna rig the channel cat rod first. And if I luck onto one, he's going home with me. Or I might just cook him out here. I haven't decided yet. The rigs I use aren't anything crazy. Just your basic slip sinker rig, Carolina rig, whatever. I use a sinker slide so you can take the weights on and off. They don't clank around and get as tangled that way. And then just use a swivel. That happens to be a 3-way swivel because that's just what I grabbed. It doesn't really matter. Crane swivels work good, and then I like kale hooks for channels and sometimes flatheads. I've had mixed luck with them. It just depends on the situation. But yeah, 50-pound braid, 30-pound leader, and you're set up for channel cats. And then if a flathead decides to eat it, you got a pretty good shot at landing them. You might get owned too, which I actually had that happen this week or last week to a client. But at least, you know, you got a shot. For the big rigs, they look the exact same except everything's bigger. I use 80-pound braid main line and then 60-pound leader. And I use the lighter leader because when my hook gets snagged in a log or something like that, I can break it off and keep my weight. And I can re-rig faster and don't lose as much money in sinkers and stuff. Or time pouring them. That's a big thing too. I bet there's a channel cat here. We'll see if he's hungry. The only thing this spot's missing is a log. If I had a log here, it would be perfect. I'm gonna give it however long it takes me to rig the other poles. Hopefully it doesn't take very long. You'll see. We're getting nibbled already. He's just sampling it right now. He's not super excited about it. He's steadily getting more excited about it. I like it when catfish are where they're supposed to be. I need just one big enough to eat it. Oh, I thought he had it that time. I was incorrect. Hopefully the little ones down there that are nibbling on it, they get the attention of the big one. He comes in and just... with or possibly without the sound effects. Oh, I thought he had it that time. Then again, I thought he had it the last time. He might have took my bait on that one. Nope, he's back. Had a few good healthy tugs, but the other rods are rigged up, and we're gonna go look for something a little better. Bigger fish. Ooh, yeah, that's not a bad one. I just think about moving. Oh, stay. Oh, we're floating. We're going to him. Not ideal, but we'll make it work. at least out here. Oh, that's a nice one. Might even be a little big to keep. That clay bank was not as secure as I thought it was. And he just laid that thing over. Spots like this aren't too bad for getting yanked off of your anchor spot. That's why I wasn't too concerned about being anchored real good. Now above a brush pile, different story. There we go. It was kind of a wonderful little mess. He's gonna beat the crap out of me, I bet. Oh, I got grippers. I was hoping smart and use them. Open your mouth. Okay. I think he's ours, I think. Oh yeah, it'll work for an eater. The way he hit it and then when he pulled me off the bank, I definitely imagined he was bigger than what he actually is. I mean, he's nice. Don't get me wrong. But will definitely work for some fish nuggets. Okay, there we go. Smacked me pretty good. Twice. Yeah, that's a pretty darn nice one. Good eater. It's like that nice size where it's a good eater but still fights awesome. We'll put him on a stringer and keep looking for him. This spot looks like a good spot too. I'll throw a bait out and yeah, continue on with my business. And I'm definitely going to chase flatheads or try to catch a flathead. Got the gear for it, got the bait for it. But if they don't want to play, these are a good backup plan. Possibly one of the best backup plans. Or at least one of my favorite backup plans. Ow! The one's probably going to be my limit for keeping. This is definitely all I'm going to be able to eat. But no worries about going hungry tonight. I even got some jerky. Get a fresh chunk and see what happens. Yeah, there's surely one over there somewhere. We're gonna see. Couple things if you're gonna drag fish around on a stringer is if you're paddling around logs or rocks or swift water or whatever, it's a good idea to not leave them in the water. Like, take them out of the water, put them in the back of your kayak when you're paddling, and then you get to your spot, put them back in the water. It's not the most ideal, but you don't want that fish hanging up on anything, because then your kayak can get turned around and you can fall out of it, you know, depending on how swift the current is. The best way to do it is to bring your cooking stuff and eat them right on the bank. That's my favorite way to do it. But those are little things to keep in mind if you ever go kayak fishing and keep some fish on a stringer. And if you ain't bringing a cooler full of live bait, you know, bring you a cooler with some ice on it and throw them in there. That works too. Well, let's keep moving. I bet I know where there's another one. He ran off to the side all wonky. quite a bit bigger than I thought he was, or would be. He made me catch up to him. He's not hooked very good. Come here, come here, come here. We might not get this one. He's barely hooked. Come here. Come on. I think I got him. Wow, what is up with you, dude? Look at that gash. Holy cow. I think that counts as a spawning mark. I'm assuming. Or a turtle tried to eat him? Something. He's had a rough go of it lately. You might not be able to see very well because of the lighting. I'll try to color grade it the best I can, but that is gnarly. Let him go back to doing whatever he was doing. He hit it and he ran out to the middle. Makes me wonder if there ain't a handful more of them in there. I'll throw that same bait. It wasn't in there very long. Let's see what happens. If nothing, I think I got my fix. Just wanted one more, you know, little battle before we start focusing on the big fish. Or at least trying to get the big fish, you know. It's not the most ideal weather in the world. It had a big storm come through and had a bunch of heavy localized rain, so like different sections of the river shot up really high and others didn't. It's kind of weird. So you have like these waves of water moving through the system. It muddied it up a little bit, but not too bad. This river didn't get hit as bad as some other rivers, which that's why I'm here. I was going to go fish somewhere else entirely, but Mother Nature said not today. That's okay. Texting Micah back and forth. If you haven't checked out his channel, Micah Burkhart, he catches absolute monsters. Trying to get him to come up here and go kayak fishing with me. He's more of a boat guy. So we will see. Might have been the only one right there. I'm gonna reel up and oh, dang it, I'm stuck on something. It's moving. Oh, that's weird. It's almost acting alive. What the heck? Caught a rock bass. That's a first. Weird. Well, that hook's messed up. Wonder if I can file it back. If I was in a tournament, I'd put a different hook on. I'm not, so we're gonna stick with this and send it. I've hooked a lot of rocks before. I've never reeled one in, I don't think. That's great. I think I've spent enough time here. Let's keep her moving. This is definitely a spot that could have a flathead, so toss us a live bluegill down there. Still gonna throw a chunk of cut bait, but Both could get one's attention. Cut bait's more likely to get the channel cat's attention. Okay, that's over log. We'll see how it goes. I'll give her 5 or 10 minutes or so. There's something living here. We'll see. See how it goes. The bluegill's excited. Ooh. He hit that hard. Did not get the hook. He might have got the bait on that one. It's hard to imagine a fish hitting that bait that hard and not getting the hook, and there still being bait on it. Could have just short bit it too, who knows. Giant turtle just poked his head up downriver. I wonder if that's what's gnawing on this bluegill, or maybe it's just the bluegill. But given it enough time here, I'm going to try to get in a little bit closer. See how that goes. The baits are nice and lively, but no bites yet. Really thought we'd get a bite here, but I was wrong, which isn't like uncommon. But I gotta get, well, we gotta get going if we want to get camp set up before it gets dark. We might be too late as it is already, but I'm gonna try. Well, this ain't good. I thought this spot would be super deep. And there's some depth. Well, there's more depth, but it's not like crazy deep. Do I stay or do I go? And it doesn't exactly look like a wonderful place to camp. Gonna go. Gonna be setting up camp in the dark too. I will. Just part of the adventure. Just about to the spot. Good old 1.5 mile paddle upriver or so. It's actually kind of therapeutic in the evenings, but I'm soaked in sweat and river water, so once I get to the sandbar, I'm gonna cast baits out and dry out and see when we get a bite. Oh, he just popped off. Did not take my bluegill head though. Should probably use a bigger hook with these. Kind of pulled it down like a flathead. The world will never know. Something's happening. I'm not sure if this is a catfish or a turtle. Feels like an aggressive turtle. He's bouncing it. There's some big fish moving around, but I don't think this is one of them. Morning. That didn't go any way that I thought it might actually go. But at least we caught one for breakfast. Originally dinner. Again, not going the way that I thought it would be. That's okay. Yeah, the mosquitoes weren't biting, and neither were the fish. Not saying that's related, but it's kind of funny how it works out that way sometimes. But we caught a few. Caught enough for some to eat. Can't complain too much about that. This little burner's slick. I wasn't sure about it, you know, but it's definitely, I've definitely started to like it quite a bit really fast. There, pop them legs out. I'll link it in the description if anybody thinks about getting one wants their own, but for kayaking or I suppose backpacking, not much of a backpacker. Yeah, it fits in that. Well, I do have means of making coffee too. I just don't have much water left, so probably gonna cook this and then I'll probably go get coffee at the gas station on the way back. All right, I rinsed these guys off. I'm gonna trim them up too. Did a really good job of keeping my cooking kit clean. That's a tongue twister. That could get you in trouble at school if you're not careful. Cooking kit cleaned. But now it's a cutting board today. And you can see all that red meat. It's fat. And that's the source of a lot of the fishy flavors in fish, is the fat. So I'm gonna trim that off there. Which that takes good fish and makes it great fish. Tables would be nice for something like this. I don't know how you'd haul it though. My favorite is when you find a log and you can set this stuff up on a log. This one fillets real fatty. Definitely not getting all the fat off of this, but doing the best we can. And if you're like, man, you're wasting a lot of meat, yeah, you are gonna waste some meat. But the flavor is improved substantially. And then on top of that, most of the contaminants that are in fish, and we definitely got some here in farm country, although we don't have the industrial stuff like a lot of places do. So I got that going for me. But yeah, most of the contaminants are gonna be in that fat, so I don't feel too bad trying to get rid of as much of that as I possibly can. All right, rinse this off. All right, Frank's. Going with the buffalo because somebody gave me some buffalo as a tip on a guide trip. So I appreciate that. I put way too much in there. We'll figure it out. So I'll let that sit there while this oil warms up, and which won't take very long. Then I'll get some breading going. Probably should have put the grease in second. Didn't think that one through entirely. Worked out fine. I'm gonna bet it's ready. It's getting there. Got one or two in there. And you can always judge a man's strength and toughness by the size of his tongs that he uses. Those are pretty sweet though. I mean, there's nothing to them. All right, let's get some more in there. Another round or two and we'll be sitting good. Well, we are done. Adventures do not always go as planned. This one kind of did. Wanted to catch me something to eat. Caught me something to eat. And it tastes pretty darn good. And I'm done paddling upriver. I get to paddle downriver. It's got that going for me too. No big fish. That's all right though. It's part of the reason that makes them so special, you know. They're not easy to catch. And when you do catch them, it's really fun and rewarding. In part that they fight really hard, but also because, you know, they're not easy. If they're easy to catch, I probably wouldn't like them as much. Oh, it's still pretty hot. I'm gonna finish eating my breakfast. Probably more of a brunch at this point in time. But hope you enjoyed the venture. It really did feel like an adventure, at least on my end. But if you liked it, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Appreciate you watching. Hope you catch a giant.